Taylor, congratulations. Fiery match start to finish. We'll get to it all. Can you fill us in on the conversation you were having with Jelena out there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's competition. People get upset when they lose, and you can't. Some people say bad things. She told me I have no class, I have no education, and to see what happens when we get outside the U.S. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I beat her in Canada outside the U.S. I beat her in New York outside the U.S. So let's see what else she has to say.
So I don't know what's in the air in 2025, but it seems like to be the year of just bitter tennis players.
So let's break this all the way down. So Taylor Townsend just beat Jelena Ostapenko in straight sets at the U.S. Open yesterday. And instead of shaking hands like a professional, Ostapenko walks up and says, "You have no class, no education. Let's see what happens when we play outside the United States." So while she's saying this, she's literally pointing at Taylor's face and jabbing her finger down toward her like she's trying to shrink her, put her in her place. That's not just disrespect, it's intimidation. It's visual domination. And when it's done to a Black woman on a world stage, it's not just personal, it's political. Telling a Black woman she has no education is not random. That's a dog whistle. It's the same rhetoric that's been weaponized for centuries to strip Black women of our intellect, our value, our place. And it's always used when we win, when we disrupt the narrative, when we dare to take up space. And no class, another tired line meant to shame us when we don't smile and shrink. Townsend didn't gloat. She didn't disrespect anyone. She won. And suddenly that's a problem. So then when she says, "Let's see what happens when we play outside the United States," what are you really saying? That she only wins because of some imagined home court advantage? Or is it a warning that outside the United States, a Black woman like Townsend will get put back in her place? That's not a tennis critique. That's racialized language. That's veiled aggression. And in that moment, pointing in her face, speaking down to her, dripping with entitlement, it wasn't just about losing a match. It was about punishing a Black woman for daring to be excellent in a space that wasn't built for her. And through all of that, Townsend stood tall and said, "I'll let my racket talk." That is grace. That's composure. That is what real class looks like. Now, I want to see that same professionalism from the United States Tennis Association and the U.S. Open leadership. Ostapenko should be fined. There needs to be disciplinary action because when Black athletes are met with hostility, verbal or physical, and nothing is done, the message is clear. You're going to protect the game, but not the people in it. If the roles were reversed, if this behavior had been directed at a white player, it wouldn't even be up for debate. It would be action, immediate and loud. Racism in sports doesn't always show up in slurs. Sometimes it's in the tone, the words, the body language, the finger in the face, the need to diminish and dominate. And if the tennis world stays silent now, you're telling Black athletes exactly where you stand.
Jelena Ostapenko didn't just lose to Taylor Townsend. She lost and tried to question her class and education. That's the oldest trick in the book. They did it to Serena. They did it to Venus. They're still doing it to Coco. And let's be real, Black folks, I'm going to call you out. We do it to each other because when Black excellence shows up, the world scrambles for a way to delegitimize it. They can't just say you won. They can't say you on your shit. They gotta say you don't belong. And you know what? I deal with this myself all the damn time. Look, full break it down is on Patreon. Tools in the bio. Move now or get left behind.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, Africans. I hope you're faring well where you are, and if you ain't faring well, please fare well where you are. So I have some news, as always, today, Today we're going to talk about racism in sports, right? I know some of you might not have heard of the name Townsend, right? There is a Black American lady. She's a champion, and she's very, very powerful. She pushes Black name. She pushes the Black image in a very positive way in sports at United States of America and other wild platforms, right? Now she plays tennis, and you understand tennis is a game that is always like a tournament, right? You take step by step. You start with you playing with your own members of maybe your community. You go to the county level, you go to the state level, and national level, and then you go international. So this lady, she's now international. And for an international lady who is playing tennis, their prizes goes for around 4.5 million annually, right? 4.5 million annually in terms of US dollars is not small money. It's huge money. It's a money that can really change your life, especially here in Africa. So this lady, Townsend, experienced, you see, one of her trophies, one of her games, she played a game against, she won against a white. I think that lady is, I think that lady is someone who is from Eastern Europe, and she didn't take the loss at heart. She didn't take it professional, like she takes it with her fellow white individuals, right? Instead, she started insulting this lady to her face. Yes, to her face. She's telling her to her face, you are not educated and you don't have no class. Tell me, for someone who earns 4.5 million annually, you are telling them that they don't have no class. And that 4.5 million annually is just a part of what she earns annually. And then you're telling us she's uneducated and she lacks no. It's happening because she's Black, right? Now, I don't want to destroy all this for you. I don't want to give you a spoiler. I want us to listen to how Black Americans reacted into all this situation. And then I shall get back by the end of the video, of course, where we shall also have a deep critical analysis. Let's dive in.
Obviously, it's one of the worst things that you can say to a Black tennis player in a majority white sport. And granted, I know Taylor and I know how hard she's worked and I know how smart she is. So she's the furthest thing from uneducated or anything like that. But if you're like genuinely asking me about the history of Ostapenko, I don't think that's the craziest thing she said. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's ill timing and the worst person you could have ever said it to. And I don't know if she knows the history of it in America. But I know she's never gonna say that ever again in her life. But yeah, I mean, it's just terrible. Like, that's just really bad.
I just want to know two things. One, Jelena, why are you so bitter? Like, have you not learned from Sabalenka during the French Open final? Like, just take the L and move on. Like, there's no reason to go over and attack someone like this because you lost. Like, just take the L. And two, the fact that you told someone that they have no class and no education and to see what happens when you step outside the United States, it's kind of giving a little bit of a threat. Like, if I were the reporters, I would want to ask Jelena, like, what do you mean exactly by those statements? Like, what exactly did you mean by that? Either way, I just think Jelena is an absolute sore loser, and congratulations to Taylor for moving on in the US Open.
Oh, so SpongeBob SquarePants, who lives in a pineapple under the sea and got her ass whooped on the tennis court the other day, decided to tell that little girl that she had no class and no education. Now, here's my thing. It is deplorable. It is reprehensible. What I want us to remember, that when they go low, we're in a season of going to the Earth's core, bitch. Collectively, I'm going to meet you at the magma. Because when they asked her, was that a racist dog whistle? She said, no, I don't know. It's not the truth about me, representing my people. And I love that for you, sister. I do, because somebody taught you that and you were raised well. But me, I was raised to knuck if you buck. Crime mob hoe. I don't have that respectability politic up on me. I'm off that narcotic. Been off it. So the idea that you could do something wholly and disrespectfully racist, and I don't say that, is a foreign concept to me. Meanwhile, they have literal advertisements for ICE that are openly racist right now. They are building an all-white town. National Guard is being deployed as Trump's own personal paramilitary troops. So the idea that in our faces they would be able to play like this and we would take the high road is unconscionable to me. No, ma'am. I got the spirit of Harriet on me. I have the shotgun on my back. And she said, if you think about turning back, don't forget, ho, I got the shotgun on my back.
Jelena Ostapenko has no idea what she's about to go through because the Shade Room just posted her heated exchange after her U.S. Open match with Taylor Townsend, in which she told Taylor that she had no class and no education and to wait to see what happens when they get outside of the U.S. For context, this all started when Taylor hit a net cord, and if you don't watch tennis, a net cord is basically when you hit the ball and it clips the net. This can cause the ball to bounce awkwardly in a way that makes it more difficult for your opponent to reach it. It can go a lot of different ways. It's basically kind of like a lucky break depending on how the ball bounces. So when people win a point where there's a net cord, they usually give like a sorry hand gesture as sort of like a courtesy to their opponent, but it is in no way a rule or a requirement of the game. Some people do it, some people don't. So when Taylor hit the net court and she won the point, she did not apologize. And you could see Jelena stay at the net, kind of like waiting for an apology. And it was at that point that she first called Taylor uneducated. After the match, when they went to shake hands, that's when Jelena started saying all that stuff I said. And Taylor basically told her, you need to learn how to take a loss better. I haven't seen it for Jelena ever since she got them Senegalese twists and turned all the comments off on her Instagram. Because, girl, what are we doing? And speaking of comments, people are already acting a fool under all of Jelena's posts. They're even on her cooking page, giving her the blues. And this whole Shade Room posting thing is only going to make it worse. But girl, you made your bed. But I have to say, Taylor did exactly what needed to be done in her response. You can watch her full press conference on the U.S. Open YouTube. But this bottom part right here, she said, the thing that I'm most proud of is that I let my racket talk. Because ultimately, I'm the one sitting in front of you guys, moving on to the next round, getting the next check, moving on, being able to sit here and speak to you guys. And that's what's most important. She's packed up and she's gone. I'm here, and that's the only thing that matters. And that's on period. Ultimately, Taylor chalked it up to a competition and just Jelena being upset that she lost. And that really is what it is. Like, this is not an issue that you really needed to press this hard. Let me know what you think in the comments.
This is a special edition of Maple and Melanin. I am amazed but absolutely not surprised that some people were raised to tell black women they have no education and no class. That's not a read, it's a reflection. This is why I have a show called Ugly Black Woman. Did you know the #1 doubles player in the world just got told she wasn't educated enough after walking off the court with a win? Her name? Taylor Townsend. A mother, a powerhouse, a tennis icon in the making. Taylor was born in Chicago. Her mother, a school administrator, and a former college tennis player. So yes, education and class are literally in her DNA. They said she didn't look the part, so Taylor became a winner they could not ignore. Wimbledon champion, Australian Open champion, world #1 in doubles, and a whole mom. She clapped back with class when she didn't have to, because Taylor just keeps on winning. With grace, power, and poise. That's what class looks like. Taylor, we see you. We salute you. All the way from Canada. Congratulations, girl. We can't wait to see what you do. Go Taylor. Go Taylor. Go, go, go Taylor. This is Maple and Melanin. Her Ugly Black Woman begins.
So Taylor Townsend won the U.S. Open. After her win, she walks up to her opponent, shakes her hand. Her opponent was Jelena Ostapenko. I hope I'm saying that right. A.K.A. Miss Trunchbull. She really had the audacity to say to Taylor while shaking her hand, you have no class and no education. Excuse me, what? Some things ain't for everybody. Because somebody like me probably would have beat the shit out of her with that tennis racket. Because it's given a racial undertone. You're mad because you lost. So I have no class and no education. Well, let me show you how much motherfucking education I got with a tennis racket and how many ways I could beat your ass with it. Let me educate you on that. But see, that's not my testimony. So shouts out to Taylor for handling that like a class act. You go, girl.
Don't mind me. I'm just trying to understand Ostapenko's aggression towards Taylor Townsend. And I'm normally talking about how things in tennis are so amazing. I'm hyping up different players. I'm excited about the new faces in the sport. But it's actually quite disappointing to see Ostapenko's display of aggression towards Taylor when she was approaching her at the net to shake her hand in a show of sportsmanship for a good match. And Ostapenko just goes off, completely goes off the hinges, saying that Taylor has to do this and has to do that. Well, she actually doesn't have to do anything. She has to do nothing. And I think Taylor Townsend showed a lot of class, a lot of grit in beating her. And she's moving on. What I'm going to focus on is Ostapenko and her nastiness, because that's what it was, pure nastiness. Her comments about Taylor having no education and being low class or not having any class because she didn't do some of the norms of tennis. What does that have to do with class? What does that have to do with education? Nothing. And I think what Ostapenko wasn't appreciative of was that Taylor Townsend was playing her best tennis in a crowd of her fans. Ostapenko, I'm sorry, the U.S. Open is not in Latvia. It is in New York. And so Taylor Townsend is going to play with her fans. That just is what it is. Get over it. Every sport has home turf advantage. Get over it. And you need to stop having these shows of aggression to your competitors. It is distasteful. It is disgusting. And your comments after don't make it better. Someone should tell you that your little posts after were worse. Give me a break. And I'm glad that Taylor handled it the way that she did. And maybe you will come back to the sport with some class and some grace and handle things better the next time. Please do.
When I say I'm super proud of how Taylor handled herself after that match with, I don't know if her name is Jelena, whatever. How she handled that match with her, and she won, and she went to go shake her hand, and the girl has the audacity to call her uneducated and classless. What? You just lost. And this ain't your first time losing against her. This is a many times of you losing against her. But it's also crazy that you're known for being a sore loser. You're known for that. Like, if anything, get your weight up. Come back and try to win against her. But to talk trash and you lost? Like, you got to be so butthurt to call a person uneducated for a tennis match. What does my education have to do with this current tennis match that you couldn't beat me in? You couldn't win. But it shows your character. It shows that you're a sore loser. And that's all that you've been hearing about that girl, is that she's a sore loser. I'm so proud of how Taylor handled herself. She spoke up. She didn't even use the race card and say that old girl intent was racist. She said, I don't know what her intent was, but I know she lost. And we all know that. You lost real bad. You looked real bad. They need to give you some coaching skills on how not to be a sore loser. It's one thing to talk trash when y'all are playing or whatever the case, but after you done lost, girl, you ain't got no.
Hey, y'all, just come through right quick. Listen, do y'all know Taylor Townsend? Yes, she is the black tennis player who has won in the U.S. Open, y'all. She was attacked by her opponent the other day, verbally attacked, okay? So basically, the opponent was saying that she was classless. She was uneducated, and I guess she wouldn't be able to win outside the USA. So that has gone viral. People attack the other opponent. I'm not going to call her name, but y'all go look her up. But she was in a rage out there on that tennis court, y'all. If that had been the other way, if it had been Taylor attacking that white European after a match, y'all know it would have went different. Taylor probably would have got fined. Taylor would have probably got put off the tennis tour and all of that, y'all. So this is blatant. You know what, to me, although the opponent came out and said it wasn't, but why would you say that somebody's uneducated or classless? Why? Let me know. Comment, share, and follow.
Shout out to the haters in that corner over there. They're gone. Where are you? I don't hear you anymore. It's okay. It's okay. No. It's okay. They're gone. I don't hear them anymore.
Telling somebody on the tennis court that they have no class or education, that's a dog whistle. Saying that you're going to, I don't know, they better watch out when they leave the U.S. feels like a threat, which is crazy because Taylor's better than me because she obviously showed class due to the fact that she didn't beat the shit out of that little girl. She's educated enough to understand the optics of what it would be if she beat the shit out of that little girl. And if she was caught outside of the U.S., no one would be able to see her beat the shit out of that little girl. Taylor, you did a great job. I'm really proud of you. Can't wait to see your next match.
Jelena Ostapenko has no idea what she's about to go through because the Shade Room just posted her heated exchange after her U.S. Open match with Taylor Townsend, in which she told Taylor that she had no class and no education and to wait to see what happens when they get outside of the U.S. For context, this all started when Taylor hit a net cord, and if you don't watch tennis, a net cord is basically when you hit the ball and it clips the net. This can cause the ball to bounce awkwardly in a way that makes it more difficult for your opponent to reach it. It can go a lot of different ways. It's basically kind of like a lucky break depending on how the ball bounces. So when people win a point where there's a net cord, they usually give like a sorry hand gesture as sort of like a courtesy to their opponent, but it is in no way a rule or a requirement of the game. Some people do it, some people don't. So when Taylor hit the net cord and she won the point, she did not apologize. And you could see Jelena stay at the net, kind of like waiting for an apology. And it was at that point that she first called Taylor uneducated. After the match, when they went to shake hands, that's when Jelena started saying all that stuff I said. And Taylor basically told her, you need to learn how to take a loss better. I haven't seen it for Jelena ever since she got them Senegalese twists and turned all the comments off on her Instagram. Because, girl, what are we doing? And speaking of comments, people are already acting a fool under all of Jelena's posts. They're even on her cooking page giving her the blues. And this whole Shade Room posting thing is only going to make it worse. But girl, you made your bed. But I have to say, Taylor did exactly what needed to be done in her response. You can watch her full press conference on the U.S. Open YouTube. But this bottom part right here, she said, the thing that I'm most proud of is that I let my racket talk. Because ultimately, I'm the one sitting in front of you guys, moving on to the next round, getting the next check, moving on, being able to sit here and speak to you guys. And that's what's most important. She's packed up and she's gone. I'm here, and that's the only thing that matters. And that's on period. Ultimately, Taylor chalked it up to a competition and just Jelena being upset that she lost. And that really is what it is. Like, this is not an issue that you really needed to press this hard. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Taylor, congratulations. For a lot of black people, hearing no education, no class would be interpreted, and rightfully so, as a dog whistle. Do you believe that had racial undertones? And for black people and black women who will hear about this and may have dealt with certain situations where they've had comments where they've interpreted it as more than just competition, what would you say to them?
So that's a two-part question. First, no, I don't know. I can't speak on what her intentions were. I can only speak on how I handled the situation. And how I handled it is someone who's upset about the outcome that occurred. you lost, and you're upset about that. Saying I have no education and no class, I don't really take that personally because I know that it's so far from the truth and so far from anything. And again, if I allow what other people have to say about me affect me in that way, then they win. So ultimately, no, I stood up for myself, and I kept in my mind in that moment how I wanted to portray myself and how I wanted to show up. And if my son were to see this interaction, how would he view it? And I think he would be proud of the way that I handled the situation. I'm very strong. I'm very proud as a Black woman being out here representing myself and representing us in our culture. And I make sure that I do everything that I can to be the best representation possible every time that I step on the court and even off the court. So I can't speak on how she felt about it. That's something that you're going to have to ask her. I didn't take it in that way. But also, that has been a stigma in our community of, being non-educated and all the things when it's the furthest thing from the truth. And the thing that I'm the most proud of is that I let my racket talk. Because ultimately, I'm the one here sitting in front of you guys, moving on to the next round, getting the next check, moving on, being able to still be here and speak to you guys. And that's what's the most important. She's packed up and she's gone. I'm here. And that's the only thing that matters. So whether it had racial undertones or not, that's something that she could speak on. But the only thing that I'm worried about right now is continuing to move forward through this tournament. I know that I'm a fantastic tennis player, and I know that I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish. And this is another stepping stone. It's another brick that I'm laying on my foundation, or on my road to greatness, And so ultimately, whatever it is that it is, I don't take any offense to it, but I'm really proud of the way that I handle myself. And, more than anything, if my son sees that, I know that he'll be proud of me as well.
People Magazine, maybe change your headline, because it wasn't a fiery post-match spat. Because not only is that headline misogynistic and extremely sexist, it is very misleading. Because what Ostapenko did was go on a racist tirade, a racist rant against Taylor Townsend because she got her ass whooped. Okay? Taylor Townsend mollywalked her all over that court. And she's big mad because she lost in front of all those people because she thought she was the shit, and she realized she is just shit. She told Taylor that she was uneducated and that wait and see when you come out of the US and see what happens. Now, uneducated is what all the racist people love to say about Black people, particularly Black women, except Black women are one of the most educated people on the planet. Stats, baby, facts over feelings. And she's just big mad that she could not keep up. She is big mad because she was embarrassed that she lost so badly. So people, let me help you fix it. Ostapenko goes on a racist rant and tirade against phenomenal tennis star Taylor Townsend after she lost. That woman needs to be fined. She needs to be suspended from games. Because why is this continually allowed? Because let's get something straight. If Taylor Townsend had ripped that finger that she was pointing in her face and slapped her, she would have been the bad one. She would have been seen as aggressive and violent and angry. All the stereotypical things that people love to say about Black women. Ostapenko was trying to goad her. She was trying to provoke a reaction out of her. And when she didn't get one, she continued. Y'all need to go see the video because she tried to get her to react. And when she didn't, she packed her shit up and walked away. Didn't want to talk to the press, didn't talk to nobody, even turned on the crowd. Okay? Taylor Townsend is not only a class act, which she shouldn't have to be, by the way. She shouldn't have to be. She whooped her ass. And like she said, she didn't have to say anything because her tennis racket spoke for her. That's what we're talking about.
So guys, after clearly listening to the arguments from our brothers and sisters, here is my deep, critical analysis. You see what is happening now, what we've just watched, is something that is just, it's not new. There's nothing new under the sun. This is classic racism, right? It's so classic. It's how someone feels they are entitled to insult you. And you know that lady might go unpunished. She might go unpunished. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what if it was Townsend who was hurling the insults to Ostapenko? Such a weird name, Ostapenko, right? What if the situations were reversed? Would the sporting federation or the sporting committee even allow that lady to walk out of there without punishment, without telling her, you'll no longer play in these sports, you are not welcomed, right? You see, what Ostapenko did, as you watch that video, she's clearly confident. She does not fear nothing. She knows she'll go nowhere because the system is ruled by people like her. The sporting system is controlled by like-minded people. You don't expect a like-minded person to punish a like-minded person in doing their like-mindedness. That is not how it goes, right? This is a classic oppression whereby she couldn't believe that a black face, a black person, could literally beat her and earn a trophy. It's something that does not settle well with their mind, right? I'm telling you that black people have excelled in so many things that some of them we are not told. Some of them go unnoticed. It is through time and through history and through independent journalism that we are coming to uncover some of these truths. Now, this is just a single case of Our Lady Townsend, right? And her experience with Ostapenko. How many ladies or how many men in sports experience racism? We've had in football, our black footballers, right? People like Didier Drogba, people like Paul Pogba, people like Balotelli. In fact, Balotelli was once called a monkey, and they started throwing bananas at him because he won a goal against the other team. Now you're called a monkey. It's not like Balotelli was the one playing football by himself. We had other white people surrounding him and playing. You see, black people, when they win, it really hurts the ego of those white people who are racist. Yeah, not all, but those people who are racist. They think that any form of winning is an oppression to them. You see, when you are privileged in any way whatsoever, yeah, any small act of equality feels like an oppression to you. That is when you are privileged in any way whatsoever. I do something small to bring a balance, to cause an equilibrium. You'll feel that I am oppressing you, but no. I'm just removing the inequality and putting in justice, right? And you are now feeling oppressed. The sports is an arena that has become a neutral ground, a ground that is not set by racism, a ground that is neutral, a ground that is set by competency. Competency on skills, not competency on skin color. You see? It's like we are living in modern days. I really don't think that we should be experiencing this kind of behaviors in modern days and times such as this, right? I think Ostapenko should face a severe punishment for her action, right? No, such an action should not go unpunished. I believe such actions should never go unpunished. Yeah. Do share your thoughts in the comment section, what you think about all this situation. I'd really love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Stay positive. And remember, this is EFK original documentary. Stay black, be positive, and be wise. If you walk those streets, be wise. Don't just be there. Learn. Understand that the world does not like you, black people. The world does not like us. It is us to like ourselves and to not give the world a reason not to like us. Not that which is in our power. Let it be out of our power they don't like us. But let's not go and cause harm. For Townsend, she had to eat. She had to provide for her kids. So she had to win. Right? Yeah. Share your thoughts in the comment section. I'd really love to hear what you have to say and your thoughts as well. See you in the next one.